What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So minus 50%. Remember that number because that is very important. We're going to take a look at a video clip today. We're going to be talking about this whole inflation situation. Are voters upset with the current administration over inflation? That is what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let's take a look. Here we go.
How bad are these numbers for the president when it comes specifically to inflation, which he very much ran on?
He very much ran on.
Won on.
And won on.
Yeah.
He won on.
Yeah, and that's the key point. In 2024, President Trump won on inflation. That's the reason why he is president today. So let's take a look at what they say.
He was trusted more in inflation than Kamala Harris. It's the key reason why he got a second term in office. Sarah, the numbers are laughably bad. They are laughably bad, but no one is laughing about these because just take a look here. Trump's net approval rating on inflation, our latest CNN poll that has been coming out over the last few days, the net approval minus disapproval, 50 points underwater.
That's crazy.
I look back at every single poll before President Trump that asked about inflation and the approval rating of the president. There has never been a president before President Trump who had ratings this bad, at least 50 points underwater. That's an over 50-point shift from where we were before the election, where, of course, President Trump was more trusted on inflation than Kamala Harris, which is why he got a second term.
Honestly, that is an insane. Have you seen down 50 point anything?
No, only on gas prices, which, of course, is part of this equation, right? I mean, as I said, laughably bad. You just don't ever see numbers like this.
And I think there's a reason why we're seeing this minus 50. The reason why we're seeing minus 50 for President Trump is because President Trump in 2024, he ran on this. The fact that he ran on inflation is too high and he's going to do something about it, he put that in everyone's head. A lot of people went out, they voted for President Trump thinking he was going to bring down grocery prices, thinking he was going to bring down gas prices, but it didn't happen. And so now not only do you have people who were, let's say people who didn't vote for President Trump, not only are they upset, but now you have people who supported President Trump. They're upset with him because he made a promise and he's not keeping that promise. And they're holding him to blame for inflation because he's the one that said that he would be able to solve it. A lot of people, a lot of politicians, presidents especially, they don't like to really talk too much about, yes, I can bring down prices, because the reality is the president, in a lot of situations, they don't have that much control over inflation. But in certain circumstances, like a war, like the war in Iran, that will cause prices to go up. We see that with gas. And when gas prices go up, everything else goes up as well. And so there's certain areas that the voters are looking at President Trump and saying, look, you're not doing anything. Tariffs, that's another area. If you impose tariffs all over the world, then that is going to cause prices to go up because the companies in the U.S. that pay for these products that are coming from overseas, they pass that cost on to the consumer. And that's something else that we're seeing. So whereas in the past, presidents could say, you know what? Yes, this inflation's bad. Even Biden could say the inflation's bad, but this is the reason why. I mean, and if it's legitimate, if we're looking at a situation like we're coming out of COVID, that does have something to do with inflation because of supply chains and things like that. So when the average voter can look at that and say, okay, inflation is bad, it was under your presidency, but some of those voters would look at that situation and say, okay, it was COVID, that sounds reasonable to me. But in a situation like we're in today, people are looking at the different decisions that are being made, and the president is making those decisions. And so if the president is making those decisions and you tie that in to inflation, that's why we're seeing numbers like this. And it's not just that poll that they showed us there. If we look at the average of the polls here on Real Clear Politics, you see in this yellow bar here on the far right, you see the spread at minus 38.3. So we saw minus 50. This is minus 38. That's still very, very bad. So in looking at the disapprovals at 67.8, approvals at 29.5. And then that CNN poll that they were just talking about here, that was conducted on 7/23 to 7/27, registered voters. You have approval at 27, you have disapproval at 73, and then you have the number there. Look at the number there. It's minus 46. So he said minus 50. I think there were two polls that they averaged in there. But just looking at the single CNN poll, you have minus 46. So I want to make a quick pitch here. If you guys are liking the content on my channel, make sure you go over and join my Substack. It's free. And on my Substack, you're going to get articles that are based on some of the videos that I've posted, as well as every video that I post on YouTube, I also post it on Substack, and Substack will send you an email notification so you'll never miss any of my videos. Link is in the description. And so when we look at poll after poll, when it comes to inflation, the voters are very upset with this current administration. Now, what will they do in November? Will they go out and will this be a referendum on the president, which generally a midterm election is a referendum on the president? And so what does this mean for November? Are these voters that voted for President Trump, are they going to show up in November? Are they going to vote for a Republican? Or are they going to change their mind and maybe vote for an independent or vote for a Democrat or just not even vote? And so that's what we don't know yet. But the numbers don't look good for Republicans. The numbers look really bad when it comes to inflation, when it comes to the economy as a whole, when it comes to even across the board. If we look, and we can go back and look at some of the different categories here. And if we look at the economy overall, if you look at the yellow bar here on the far right, it says minus 24.2. If we look at the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and the yellow bar here on the right, it says minus 14. If we look at foreign policy, again on the right here, it's minus 17.4. If we look at immigration, again on the right, minus 8.5. If we look at crime, and this is an area where Trump was very, very strong, but right now it's minus 5.4. If we look at the war in Russia and Ukraine, right now it's minus 18.5. So not only is the president underwater when it comes to inflation and well underwater when it comes to inflation, but he's also underwater in a lot of these other categories. And Real Clear Politics, every category that they have available is showing that the president is underwater. So if we do see a referendum on the president in this midterm election, most likely you're going to see Democrats gain seats. They will most likely take back control of the House. They have a possibility of taking back control of the Senate, although it's going to be very hard. But right now, according to voters, they are not happy with the current administration. So I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.